Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chu and today we're going to be going over one of my favorite chord progressions ever, as well as a couple of techniques that you can apply to use it to churn out a bunch of dope beats. But before we get into anything else, I know a bunch of you have seen it. I know a few of you guys have actually been talking about it already in the comments and everything. Thank you so much for helping me get to 100K subscribers, guys. Like, I have so much to say about it and I'm definitely gonna talk about it later. I'm gonna do a mushy post, I'm gonna do a whole video about it later. I did definitely just wanna do a formal thank you and just say explicitly to you guys, thank you so much for 3 years of continued support, man. I couldn't have done this without you. But yeah, there'll be more than enough time for that later. Also, thank you so much for streaming my new single, Pour It Out. It's already at like 1,000 streams, which is crazy. And you guys helped me get back to 2,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is super dope. As a thank you, I'm gonna be dropping a new EP. If you wanna stay up to date with that, just follow me on Spotify. You can find a link to my profile in the description below. Lastly, the results for the Pour It Out beat battle will be coming out very soon and you'll be notified via email. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the video.
Everybody bedroom can't be the masters. Everybody really just a copy of the master.
So there's been two things that you guys have been asking me to do on my channel for a while. One is make a Sakura preset bank, which I'm still working on. I don't even know how to like load presets into Sakura, so I'll let you guys know. But the other one I can do, and then you guys have been asking me to tell you some of my favorite Sakura presets and some of my favorite Sakura presets and preset banks, and then some of my favorite citrus presets as well. Those are the two main stock VSTs that I use on my channel. So this is gonna be me walking you guys through some of my favorite ones. And if I get the opportunity, I'm gonna try talking you through some other stock plugins as well. The drum sounds that I'm going to be using are going to be from the free 14 drum kit and my best-selling centerfold drum kit. You can find links to both of those in the description below. Drop a like on this video if you end up learning something new or just enjoy chilling with me for a few minutes, and be sure to subscribe so I can buzz away in your pocket the next time I have some dope content for you. And follow me on Instagram. I do weekly giveaways, post my beats, and communicate with fans. It's super fire. All right, now we can jump right in. So the first thing I want to do is take a moment to set up my workstation. This will also be a good opportunity for me to demonstrate a few like VSTs and presets that I like to use. Two in particular that I'd like to talk about are Sakura and Citrus, and if we have time we'll talk about a couple more. So a few of my favorite Sakura VSTs. The first one is, and before I even get into anything else, I do want to say that a lot of the sounds that I use in Sakura are from the Sonic Haiku bank, and I think almost everything that I'm going to tell you about today is going to be from the Sonic Haiku bank. It's one of the most solid banks in all of FL Studio. So the first preset is Quasimodo. I love Quasimodo. If you've seen my video, 3 reasons why Sakura is better than Omnisphere, you know that I love this preset. It's so fire. So here's what that sounds like. I love that sound. So the next preset that I really like from Sakura, there's a couple of really good harp presets. The first one is the natural harp. It's really good. And so here's what that sounds like. Pretty cool. Now, the second harp sound that I like from Sakura is the rich harp, and I just need a moment here to find it. Here we go. I almost kind of know it by heart. It's like I don't even know the numbers, but I kind of just know like where to scroll. So here's what this sounds like. So just another quality harp sound, and you've probably heard me use these a lot in the Wheezy tutorials. These are like my go-to for making melodies like that, kind of like the Oriental Japanese anime inspired type melodies. All right, so rich harp. Now the last really solid Sakura preset that I want to show you guys is the Greasy Peanut Butter Bass. Now this is just an emulation of the Reese bass, and it's just like a really good, like, it's super solid. With some EQ and wave shaper, you know, and some soft clipper, it really goes crazy. So it's one of like my go-tos in beats. A lot of times when I'm doing a sub bass, it really is just this sample. So we'll just rename this as sub bass. And then yeah, we can move on. Now, this is another one of my favorite like VSTs ever, not just stock, like literally one of my favorite VSTs ever, for the simple reason that it has 2 of my favorite presets ever. So the first preset that I really like is the Amylase preset. Now this preset is just like a super fire pad preset. and you get really good tones and textures. It's really good for making R&B beats. I think particularly with like the 2-5-1 chord progression, or even the chord progression that we're gonna be going over today, the 6-5-1. It's really, really good. You know, keep the tempo between like 110, 125, add a perk, sub bass, not a 808 or anything like that, maybe a bass pluck, and you'll get a solid R&B beat with this preset every single time, man. I really do like it. It's a go-to for me for sure. Now, the other really good one from Citrus that I want to show you guys is and it's literally just called Flute. A lot of times people ask me, will hear me use this in a beat or see me use it in a tutorial, and they'll ask me like, where do you find it? Where do you find it? I'll even tell them it's in Citrus and it's the Flute preset, and they'll be like, which Flute preset? And I'm just like, it's called Flute, bro. So like now for the people who are wondering, I'm really just doing this so I can refer people back to it at this point. It's like, it's just the Flute preset. It's just Flute and Citrus. It's super fire. Super fire, super fire. So there's a couple more VSTs that I'd like to tell you about real quick. GMS. I use GMS a lot for like bass plucks or just bass textures in general, and then like melody textures. It's really, really good. Like their texture bank, or what is it? Yeah, pads and textures is amazing for adding like really dope like melody layers to your beat that aren't like entire, like it's not like you don't have to make a whole new melody. It kind of like subtly adds like something dope to your like beat. So like one that I really like, I think, is like Lasers. Andromeda is another one that I really like. That's another one that I really like. This landing texture is another one that I really like. So they're all just really good for adding like, you know, interesting character to your beat. So the last one that I really want to go over is one everyone might already be expecting, but you might not see this last part coming. Now, I use FL keys a lot. I have a bunch of tutorials about it, but something that I feel like I don't talk about enough is the fact that it does have a few presets in here. And one preset that I really, really like is the Rhodes preset in FL keys. It's super duper solid. It's a really, really solid sounding Rhodes preset with some effects. You'll make some really good R&B beats. I think this with the Amylase pad has gotten me a lot of sales on R&B beats, like really, really simple chord progressions, really dope drum bounces, and like a sub bass. I'm serious, man. These VSTs are like the go-to, especially for R&B beats. Yeah, those are basically all the melody sounds that I want to bring into this beat. Again, this is not like everything that I'm going to be using. I'm probably going to only end up using 1 to 2 sounds. In most beats, you only need 1 to 2 melodic things happening, and then maybe a texture, and then just program the drums and you'll be good to go. But I did want to just show you guys a few things that I really do like to use, and those are some super fire VSTs and presets, but there are a bunch more, and I'm sure you guys know a bunch of them. So like if you have your own favorite ones, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know a few of your own favorites, because I actually need some sauce too, so it would be super beneficial. So this chord progression is based on the minor scale. Minor chords usually sound a little bit darker, so they'll sound something like this. Whereas major chords will usually sound a little bit lighter, something like this. So the minor chord that we just built is a basic 1 minor chord in the minor scale, and you can build it like this every single time. So you'll just find your root note. So let's say we want to start in C sharp minor. So we would start on C sharp, and you just move up a couple spaces, and then you place that next note right there. So you move 1, 2, 3, and place it there. So in this case, that's E. Then you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and place the last note. So in this case, it would be G sharp, and then you get your chord. Now each scale has 12 keys, which correspond to the 12 musical notes. So another way of saying this is that this chord has 12 different manifestations. This manifestation that we've built here is just one instance of that. This is the same 1 chord, it's just the second manifestation. This is the 3rd manifestation, and so on and so forth. They're all one minor chords, they're just manifestations, and those correspond to the 12 keys of the various scales that we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about the minor scale. So let's move back down to C sharp. Now, I know we're getting a little bit wonky here, but just stick with me because I promise it's not that confusing. And I'm gonna give you something that's gonna make it super simple. Now, within each key, you have 7 triad chords like the one we've just built here. This would be triad chord number 1. But as we've already demonstrated, the chords aren't different except for the actual notes and the tones that they make. So this is usually why I'll make melodies in the same key every time, C sharp, because I know all the notes in C sharp and then I can always just transpose it up or down later and it'll be the same thing. And that's actually a technique that a lot of producers use, like especially if you want to be good at instruments, you don't actually have to learn the guitar in its entirety. You only have to learn how to play the guitar in a certain key that you really like, and then you can transpose it in your digital audio workstation. That's like the power of being a producer, is you get that added benefit of like knowing how to use your digital audio workstation, which is kind of like an instrument in and of itself. So for our example today, we're going to be working in my favorite key, which is C sharp. So we can place our root note here, and that's going to be our marker. And then we can drag in our scale helper, which is going to help us build out the rest of our chord progression. Now you can just use the ghost note scale helpers. Please don't ever just buy ghost notes from somebody. I think like that's what Unison basically is they just built the chords and then they're just selling you that when you could just build it yourself, or you could just literally go into, what is it, like Stamps, and you have all the chords. Like I'm not going to go through how you can use this, but FL Studio literally does it for you, and you can like even change your view to have scales and stuff like that. It's highlighted and stuff. Like mine's highlighted. I just don't use that because I prefer to do it this way. There's a bunch of ways that you can do the same thing, and being a producer is finding the way that's the most efficient for you, that works for you. Everybody's different creatively. This is just the way that I use it. So please don't ever think that I'm trying to sell you like a kit just for scale helpers. And I mean, unless you really like Unison, please don't buy their stuff. I mean, maybe Drum Monkey's cool, but I mean, I don't trust their company that much. Anyways, oh my god. The root note for this scale help the root note for this scale helper is F sharp. So we're just gonna drag this down to our root note, which is C sharp, and then we should be good to go with building out our chord progression. All right, so to begin, we're just gonna make a 6 chord. So to count this out, you're basically just gonna be like, this is where the 1 chord starts. So this will be 1, then this is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then those are your 7 triad chords. So we need a 6 first. And then we can drag this over. And then we need a 5. And then we need a 1, which we've built a bunch of times in this video already. So that's just boom, boom, boom. And then we can just move that over. So yeah, it's a pretty simple concept. I know I did like a bunch of like musical techno babble at the beginning, but like don't let stuff like that overwhelm you. Just focus on the fact that like music really is a pretty simple mathematical concept that you can apply like pretty easily once you, I don't know, have the pieces. Honestly, you didn't even have to understand what I just said. As long as you know that like you can take the 7 chords and rearrange them however you want, that's basically all you need to know about music. Honestly, I don't know much more than that, to tell you the truth. So if you can grasp that, I promise you, like, you can accomplish your wildest dreams in music. Like, if you can grasp that very simple, like, concept of, like, how chords can be arranged and keyed up and down, you will be, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi type shit, like, I promise. Like, you will have the high ground on Anakin type shit, bro. But this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of, like, chord progressions that I really like to use for this type of exercise. So if you do like this, go ahead and drop a like on this video, letting me know that you want to see more of these chord exercise videos in the future.
So if you guys just can't wait for more chord progression tutorials like this, I actually have a really dope one up on my channel already. It's got like 30K or so views and it's really helped a lot of people out. So I'm gonna drop that on the screen right now, and then you guys can go check it out once you're done watching this. I think it's really gonna help you out. So I hope you enjoy.
So now we can get into the fun part, which is building out the melody. Without even thinking, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and just apply one of my favorite musical techniques ever. And I'm just going to get rid of this scale helper real quick because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to need it anymore. And I'm going to go to this harp because I'm feeling like I hear a harp for this beat. And I don't even know. We can just use this as our helper now. We'll mute it. It's muted. It's another way of talking about arpeggiation is calling it a broken chord, and it's basically when you just break up the chord and then you play it like note by note in some kind of like repetitive sequence. And it's like one of the most like go-to techniques that musicians use, like going back to like classical music type stuff. It's just very, very pleasing to the human ear to hear like a very dope chord progression be kind of broken up and played like in repetition. It's just very soothing. So now I'm just gonna layer this with some notes on the bottom, basically just following the same thing. So now I would like to add some accents to this melody using this harp. This is something I like to do a lot. It's like such like a, how would you say this? I'm like a one-trick pony when it comes to doing this. And I learned to do this literally just by mimicking what KBZ did. I forgot who the other producer was that produced on that beat, but KBZ made the beat for Ian Dior and Lil Baby. The song is called Prospect, right? And they have this dope pluck strum, and I love just emulating that like every time I use harps in my beat. It's so cool, bro. Like, and it's so easy to do. And it just adds such a dope texture. Oh my god. Okay, cool. I like that. So let's see how many do we have so far? Let me see if I can use all of these, bro. If I get this off, bro. If I get this off, you have to drop a sub and a like, bro, for real. And a whole comment, bro. Like if I use all of these in the same melody, bro, you have to.
All right, well, the pad is easy because I just have to follow the chord progression. So that's easy. That's easy. That was too easy. Let me. Okay, so something creative we can do here is we're gonna chord voice it because that was too easy. I'm gonna chord voice it so to add more like a texture to it without changing the octave because I like the octave we're working in, but I do want to cover more frequency and then just transpose it up, and now you have a little bit more characters in your pad melody. And that's something I really like to do with my pads. I don't know, it just makes it sound really, really cool. I'm gonna bring this over. There we go. Okay, so next I really want to add a texture with GMS. So I'm gonna pop in here. I'm gonna see just off the names which one that I can see that might fit my vibe. Or well, let's just see. Because remember, we're going for something very natural sounding. Okay, so I actually did get every single one except for the sub bass. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and use it as one whole melody, and then I'm gonna use the sub bass in some section of the beat. And then that will be how I end up using every single VST that I showed you guys. So not only did I show you guys some dope, you know, plugins and presets, but I ended up using every single one. I'm pretty proud of myself, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you so much for all the love that you guys have been showing on my new single, Pour It Out. When I was asking you guys to pre-save it for the beat battle and everything, by the way, the beat battle, like, I don't know if I've already said this in this video already, but the results are coming. Like, I promise you, it was just like a lot of beats. I was not expecting that. Like, I'm almost done listening. I'm sending it to like the final round of like judging. There's gonna be a dope video for it and everything. Just stay posted. I promise it's gonna be lit, bro. I promise. So that's almost here. But anyway, when I was asking you guys to do all the pre-saving and everything, man, I was not expecting that level of like support, bro. Like, we got to 1K streams in like 4 days. To give you some perspective, I only had like 1,700 monthly listeners at the time. I'm like somewhere around 2,100 like at the time of filming this. And that's just like, that level of support is crazy because we didn't playlist it or anything. Me and CJ just said, let's just put it out and like, let's just keep putting out music from now on. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for streaming. Keep streaming. I've got it in the playlist. It'll be one of the first links in the description below. Go save that playlist. Please save that playlist. And if you really fuck with us, put it on play, put it on a low volume, and just let it spin all day, you know, if you really fuck with us. Thank you guys for the support. It's been crazy. And yeah, I love you guys. That is the 6-5-1 chord progression. It's super dope. It's one that I use a lot. These chord exercises really do just help me defeat beat block first and foremost. So it's super easy to just wake up in the morning and just pump one of those out, knowing, you know, I'm just gonna use, you know, my go-to drum sounds from the Centerfold drum kit. I'm just gonna use, you know, one of the chord progressions that I really like to use. Like I like the one with the suspended 2. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And then this 6-5-1 is just another really solid chord progression. All it really is just, you know, selecting your sounds, picking your chord progression, and then building your melody around that, and then just making a hard beat and arranging it. From there, it's just breaking down the beat and arranging it, structuring it, and getting it exported, getting it to the artist, man. So if you want more information on how to do things like that, I've got a dope arrangement tutorial. I'll link it down below. I think that'll really help you, and it'll be a nice supplement to this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for stopping by and deciding to kick it with me for a few minutes. It's been dope chilling with you and getting to talk with you. Go ahead and drop a like on this video if you ended up learning something new or just enjoyed kicking it with me. And be sure to smack that subscribe button so I can buzz away in your pocket the next time I have some dope new content for you. Please, please, please go stream Pour It Out. I'll even give you a nice little sample of it right now.
Pouring out this cup until it's all gone. I was pouring out my heart, but now that's all done. I'm the one they always gotta call on. Responsibilities on me where they fall on.
Other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and always be creating. Just make sure it's dope content only. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.
Lost so many people, told myself, boy, don't you dare cry. Flight across the country in the morning, it's a red eye. Bottling the pain, sunglasses for my red eyes. Wonder why everybody wanna get a master's. Everybody wanna own they masters. Everybody bedroom can't be the masters. Everybody really just a copy of the master. I've been rocking with shorty since like 2014. Went and caught that surgery, she busted up for a nigga. She from Texas, put the hometown pussy on my jeans. She got that good wet shit I ain't never seen.